to you live. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, episode 224. Capitals, Nats, Wizards, and even a little bit of Washington football team thrown in.
By CP3. Beats by CP3.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network. Thank you, gentlemen.
That's right. It's Monday night. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network. CP3 coming to you live from the lab. Robbie G coming to you live from the man cave, bringing you the best DC sports coverage around. Sports on the Hill podcast, baby. You know how we do. Robbie G, how you doing tonight, good sir? You double muted.
I always double mute myself, right? There we go.
A show ain't a show until you double mute yourself, Rob.
Indeed. So 224 in, and I'm still gonna double mute myself. So I am good. I'm kind of nervous. The Rangers game, Caps game, is 3-3 so far. The Caps are 0 for 2 on the power play. They'll have a minute and 23 seconds to work here at the top of the third period on the power play. They've only converted one, I believe, one or two this entire season against them, and they just had a shorthanded chance. It's better than any of our power play chances so far. So we're going to have a minute left to work with here. So I'm a little nervous. On the other side, we've got the Wizards, 136 to 117. So let me see. Does this work? Can I switch cameras? There you go. So you can see in the man cave, I've got the OBS studio. We've got the live Wizards up there. They're winning 136-117. We got the power play going on over here. I'm going to switch back to the other camera. Trying new things with different cameras. Yeah. We'll be using those on our Wednesday show. Just a quick little shout out, doing a Wednesday show on my Twitch. I'm doing a great interview with Josh Turk, and it's going to be awesome. I did a little pre-interview with him before this. It's going to be fantastic. So yeah, if you're into music and sports, I'm interviewing a Toronto musician on Wednesday at 9 o'clock on my channel, and I'll probably share it on my Facebook channel as well. The Caps are in all alone on a crazy move with 17 seconds left on the power play, but they are unable to convert. 5 seconds left here. I'm just going to stick with it for just 1 second while the rest is power play. And it looks like it's going to expire here, but they're still deep in the zone. Maybe they can try to get something out of it. And we'll see how they do. The Rangers are able to kill 22 of 23 power plays this season. And there's the stat. We've only converted once. I was unfortunately correct. Anyway, so hopefully the Caps can play well down the stretch here. Zibanejad already has 2 goals for the Rangers. Rangers almost scored just there. Again, the Wizards, 136-119 It's 6:40 left in the fourth quarter in that game. Westbrook had a triple double through 3 quarters. Some pretty phenomenal play by him. Pulling up his live stats right now. He's got 10 points, 19 rebounds, and 21 assists. So if he can get 20 rebounds and 20 assists to go along with 10 points, that would be pretty incredible here. So we'll be watching out for that. Yeah, and there's some exciting. Well, the Nats are doing well. They're now tied for the top of the division. So we'll get into that. And then the other big thing is there's been some draft news. And so, Carol, I'm going to let you take it away while I share to a couple of Twitch groups about that, and then just let people know what happened in the draft.
No doubt, no doubt. Good games going on right now. The Wizards actually playing some defense and, playing some good ball. I actually have the game on, which I know is a rarity. But I've got the game on, and Robbie's giving a great breakdown of the Caps. But I'm going to talk a little bit of Washington football news. We just had the draft go down this past weekend, starting on Thursday, finished up on Saturday. In my opinion, I'm looking at highlights and checking out film. In my opinion, it was a quality draft. I'm not ready to grade it yet. We'll have a Washington football team draft breakdown show coming in later on this month. I'm going to coordinate with Dujane so we can break down these draft picks. But I'm going to run through them real quick before we get into Caps talk. First round pick was Jamin Davis, 6'3", 234 pounds. We'll run the 4.3 40. He's a linebacker that can cover, that has good coverage skills, and is definitely going to help this defense. And I believe, Robbie, I think I heard the goal horn go off. Did I not?
You did. Top line sprung, right? Coming through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a big, sort of a really bad play out front by the Rangers, and Sprong cuts to the middle. I don't know if the Ranger, I think it was just maybe a bad pass or just, I don't know, but it was a turnover, and Sprong made him pay ultimately.
I don't know what he was thinking about. But we'll take that, though. We'll take that, definitely. Getting back to this quick rundown of the draft picks, second round pick was offensive tackle Samuel Cosme, 6'6", 314 pounds. Looks like he's going to be going for the left tackle spot. He can play left and right. And from some of the tape I saw, he's like I said, 6'6". He's a big dude. He's good with his hands, and yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him on the blind side for whatever quarterback we have lining up out there. The first of 2 third-round picks was Benjamin St. Juste, cornerback. Excuse me, 6'3", 202 pounds, 4'5", 40. He's real physical. He plays the run well. He's has good ball skills. He has a lot of deflections and tips, and also had some decent interceptions. Only thing I saw issue with him was a little bit handsy in coverage, and if he doesn't fix that, he's going to get a lot of pass interference and holding calls in the NFL. The second, third round pick was Demani Brown, a wide receiver, 6'1", 189 pounds, runs a 4.4 40. Another speed to add to the offense. They added Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback, who has no fear throwing the ball down the field. Now Terry McLaurin has some other speeds out there where they can't double him all the time. So now I think defenses are going to have a problem. This kid, he's quick, he's elusive, he has good length, but he's definitely going to have to work on his route running. I'm not going to say a one-trick pony, but he gets got a lot of scores on double moves in college, and the NFL corners and safeties don't bite on double moves as much as in college. So he's definitely could add the dynamic player to this offense if he can work on those things. With the fourth round pick, they drafted John Bates, a tight end, 6'5", 250. I think he'd be a good complement to Logan Thomas. This team runs a lot of 2 tight end sets. Jeremy Sprinkle didn't really produce in the pass catching game, and his blocking didn't really pick up. This kid, I didn't really see too much blocking. He was in Boise State offense, which is a pass-happy offense. So one thing that I was reading up on about him is he definitely is going to have to get stronger and be able to hold the point of attack on the line if he's blocking. But being that he'll be on the weak side of the line, well, there is no weak side. He had 2 tight ends, but he'll be on the other side of the line on the left tackle side. He'll be basically helping out the left tackle. So left tackle is generally your best tackle on the team because it's normally the blind side. Fifth round pick is the safety, Derek Forrest. He's 5'11 and a half, 206 pounds, 440 speed. He's physical, good tackler, good hands. I didn't really get to see a lot of tape on him, but those are some of the things that I saw. The 6th-round pick was a little of a head scratcher for me. Draft a long snapper. I couldn't even really find any tape on him. I didn't even really look up the numbers on it because long snappers are long snappers. No disrespect, but you got one job and that's it. 3 7th-round picks. 2 of them were defensive ends. Will Bradley King and Shaka Tony. Both of them, to me, are more like an outside linebacker and a 3-4, and then a defensive end because both of them are around 240 pounds, 245 pounds, 252 pounds. They were, good defensive ends in college, getting around the edge, more athletic than strength. So they're definitely going to have to get in the weight room and add some bulk if they want to make the team as a defensive end rotation or whatever they can get on the field as, because they'll probably be special teams players, to be honest. And the last pick of the draft was Dax Milne, wide receiver. Not Milne. I can't remember how they pronounce it on the field. But it's Milne, pronounce it how you will. And he's 6'1", 190 pounds, 4'5", 40. He more of a slot guy. He played outside in college, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed of a 4'5". So he'll probably be a slot guy. He reminds me of a Wes Welker, but not as quick. If he can get his quickness together, he runs good routes. He has good hands, but he's definitely going to have to develop into a wide receiver at the NFL level. That was just a quick rundown. Like I said, we'll have a draft recap show coming up soon. Stay tuned. What you got, Robbie?
I'm just quickly sharing some crazy stats going on here. So 47 assists for the Wizards. Franchise high just hit. So that's kind of interesting. And then they just posted that the Capitals are one of the best road teams in hockey, which I didn't quite know.
I told you
before.
that the other day in our conversation we had.
Yeah, it's true. They have 17 wins already this season, so hopefully they can add to that tonight. And they're up 4-3, 11 minutes left in the third. Wizards are up 146 to 127. Yeah, so just a lot of exciting things. But I'm happy with the draft picks. Just overall, I think that they filled some needs. I think that through some free agency, they'll be able to do well. And let's see if we can get a hustle play here. Oh, I tried on a breakaway. It didn't work. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what I've seen. I trust in this new system, and I'm really happy with what we saw at the end of last year. I'm still curious about the quarterback position, and if Fitzmagic can be a full-time starter or what they're going to do going forward with that. But just overall, I'm pretty happy with where they are, and I think that they drafted well. But overall, you think that you're pretty happy with it?
Oh, definitely. They drafted for need. They didn't draft for a big name. They didn't rush and try to trade up to get a quarterback or whatever. They drafted for need. They got fill some holes that this team has had for a while. At the linebacker spot with the first pick, they were touting that he was definitely a quality linebacker that could help this team in coverage on tight ends with down the seam, which has been this team's problem for a while now. And they added to the defense to already top 5 rankings last year in most of the defensive category, top 10. And, with a strong defense, and like we talked about Fitzpatrick, now you got McLaurin, you got Samuels, you got Brown, the new draft pick, you got Harmon coming back, you got Sims coming back. I mean, Logan Thomas had a breakout season last year. Then you got Antonio Gibson, J.D. McClintock. It's going to be interesting to see how Scott Turner runs his offense. But if this offense can get going and the defense produce like they did last year and improve and get better, it's going to be an interesting season because the one X factor is being they won a division even with a 7-9 record. They have a first place schedule. That means they play every division winner that won last year. So that means it's no cakewalk. So they're going to have to, this year, it looks like we want to have preseason, 3 games. We mentioned that they went to 17 regular season games and 3 preseason games. So if you recall last year, the first 4 games of the season, the team looked horrible. But after that, they got in the rhythm and got going because that was basically like their preseason. So if they can get some preseason games under their belt and hit the ground running week 1, then, hopefully we can see a repeat division winner, but not with the 7-9 record, maybe with the 11-6 record now that it's 17 games.
Yeah, I want to really quickly thank everyone for tuning in on both Facebook Live and on Twitch, and I know on Carol's feeds as well. Out of town scoreboard, just interesting. I know Brian doesn't love this, but it's important to note that Boston is currently winning. Boston would have to lose all the remaining games, and they had games in hand for them to lose out on this playoff spot to the Rangers. Rangers, if they lose one more game or Boston gets one more point, they're out. So the Bruins are up 2-0 with 5:31 left in that game against the Devils. The Islanders are tied with the Sabres 2-2, which is interesting. And the Flyers are beating the Penguins 4-2, which I thought was interesting as well. So, some interesting out-of-town scores. Real quickly, Pittsburgh's right now in the lead in the division. Washington is right behind them, and the Islanders are 2 points back of that. And Boston's 1 point back of the Islanders. So three teams have gotten in the East: Pittsburgh, Washington, the Islanders. Boston's trying to punch their spot into it. Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota are in. St. Louis and Arizona are battling for the last in the West. And right now, only Toronto is in. Edmonton, if they can get one more point, will join them. And then Winnipeg and Montreal are the most likely to take those spots. And then in the Central, Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Florida are all in, and Nashville and Dallas are battling for the last spot. Dallas is coming on strong to end the season, as they often do. So, in some interesting battles, I just wanted to give a little updates on the playoff standings before I got into some hockey talk. But Carol, any quick thoughts on any of that before we bring Anna in?
No, let's go ahead and get Aaron in so we can break down excuse me, this 1 and 2 week. There haven't been a losing week in a while, but it sucks when we haven't because we got to talk about it.
Indeed. Anna, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm wondering if my humidity hair is going to make it into the frame, but apparently part of it is. Good Lord,
that
this weather's driving me crazy. Not that you can relate, Carol, but it's okay.
I can relate to this problem, but anyway, but I hope that your week has been well. What were let's just get right into it. The first game was the best game. Can you break down the scoring in the first game of the week?
Do I have to? Well, actually, this first one,
the first one's good.
The first one's good. I was thinking the first hit game, and I was like, no. So last Tuesday, the Caps played the Islanders, and we only had one goal the entire game, Daniel Sprong. And he's just becoming a huge fan of mine. What an outstanding, consistent player. I just, number 10, I think he's awesome, and he's been great tonight. But yeah, so he scored at 1:29 into the first, assisted by Orlov and Wilson. And then you get Vanacek with the shutout. So it was a great game to see. I don't know if did you guys, yeah.
I saw it, but I want to get Carol's thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it from start to end. You had it right with Sprong. He's been, excuse me, a key piece of this team, up and down the lineup whenever they've needed him. He's been out there executing, playing, well, 200 feet. And the fact.
Who scored?
I don't know. It's early.
Okay, because mine's
Hold up,
Oh, wait, no, there it is.
Yeah, I got 5-3. Your go home must be drinking tonight, Robbie. It's early, it's late. What's going on, man?
No, I think it was Backstrom. Was it Backstrom?
I just saw a 9.
Looks like it's a Nick Backstrom goal, but now I've got to rewind. I was so into looking at stats, I didn't even look up.
I heard the goal horn. I looked up. They was already at face-off. I was like, Robbie goal horn drunk tonight.
Yeah, it was for me too, and that's why I was confused. I was like, wait, it hasn't happened yet. I was like, oh wait, no, it must have already happened. So it was.
Brian just chimed in and said it was Backstrom.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. That's awesome. So we got Nikki B right here.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. I know that one hurt, but thanks. Man.
But thank you. We appreciate your help. All right, Wizards win big, as True No Spots Pod, aka Champ, is saying in chat. Thank you, and everyone, Carly and Lucky and all the people in Twitch chat. I appreciate all of you guys. But yeah, it's a big goal right there. All right, let's get back into this one. Carol, did you have any more thoughts on that before?
Yeah, it was a good game. It was good to see Double V to get the shutout. He's had This is what his second. He could have had maybe 4 or 5. It wasn't for a late goal in the third or something like that, or a bad penalty, and then got on a power play and gave up a goal. So it was a good effort against the Islanders, who at that time were still in third place fighting for their playoff lives. And the fact that they were able to take the last 3 from them, 2 of them at home, where they played so well at home, I felt like that was a statement win. And hopefully, I was hoping it would lead to good things later on.
For sure. I just want to talk about Sprong for a second. I'll throw in some stats that we'll also talk about in a few minutes with some of the other games. But 5 games, 5 goals in the time since Ovechkin's been hurt. And talk about someone's going to have to step up, right? And he stepped up huge, and he and Rafi, and they were trying to decide who's going to get that last spot, right? There's a lot of conversation of who will get that last spot in the lineup, and he's proven that.
He earned it.
He earned it. I mean, he won't be the top line, so that's obviously Ovi's spot, but, he deserves a spot somewhere in the lineup, and he's proved it, and he's played up and down the lineup, and especially tonight, and we'll talk about this mixed match lineup when we get to this game, but you need somebody to show up big in a game like tonight. But he's just been phenomenal for us. I can't say enough good things about him. He was in the previous Islanders game to this, he was a +3. He was a +1 in the next. He had a not so great one against Pitt, but I mean, we didn't play well against Pitt in the first game. But it's been either 0 or better in almost every game, and it's just been so important for us. And I'm so happy we got a shutout. Both goalies got shutouts against the Islanders in this 3-game series. That means that we can be confident going into both of them. They're showing. I'll give. So Adam Fox is the assist leader in the NHL for He's been incredible. They were just showing the statistic of him. I think he's 42 assists on the season, which is more than most centers and forward staff, which is kind of ridiculous. But Backstrom goal was assisted by Jensen and Rafi Raffle. Jensen's 12, Raffle's 7. So it's good that we're getting going. I don't have a lot more to add. There wasn't a lot more to this game, but I'm just happy that we got the shutout and the win. Unfortunately, that's the best game we're going to talk about. But we're going to slog through it till we get to this Rangers game.
Yes, we will. So last Thursday, the Capitals played the Pens, and we have TJ Oshie scoring first at 7:27 with a power play goal, assisted by Schultz and Backstrom. And the Pens tied up at 15:27. Second period, the Pens score first at 8:32, but Orlov turns around 30 seconds later, scoring his 8th, assisted by Backstrom. Daniel Sprong scores his 11th at 15:07, and then, of course, the Pens scores to tie it up. And now we're going into the third period. Probably the most exciting part of the whole game, to be honest, was the Pens scored first at 10:55. And I think all of us were kind of on edge and what's going to happen? And then here we go, Tommy Wilson at 19:45. Oh, it's so brilliant. Assisted by Kuzi and Backstrom, ties it up, heading to overtime, and we lose by 4. But at least this game, there was effort. I'll put it that way. And I think with Tommy getting that, it was just brilliant. I don't know if you or Carol saw that goal, but it was exactly where he needed to be and exactly what the team needed, and it was oh my God, go Tom. And then not so much in overtime.
Yeah, Carol, did you watch this game?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a good game. I was had my fingers crossed when they pulled the goalie, and we're hoping they was going to be able to find a way to tie the game up so they could at least get a point. And I'm a big fan of Wilson also, so it was a great play to tie the game up. Overtime, they had a couple of chances at the beginning of overtime. They had good puck possession. They just couldn't get the job done, and unfortunately, Pittsburgh was able to get the winning goal in overtime. And I was a little pissed after this game because I felt like the Caps should have got this game. Like I said, the overtime in the beginning, Kuzi was doing his thing. They just couldn't get past the goalie, couldn't elevate the puck when they did have a chance, and unfortunately Pittsburgh was able to get the game-winning goal and tie the division at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was so down. I thought, we were up 3-2. They scored 2 goals. Especially the in the third going into it 3-3. I felt whoever was going to score first is probably going to win that game. And then, they scored at 10:55. I was like, oh, this is not, a great moment for us. And then it gets time's ticking down. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to pull this off here, and especially with, without Ovechkin, without John Carlson. And Tom Wilson what an amazing goal.
It was fantastic.
12th goal of the season. Kuzi found him perfectly. Great assist. His 20th. Nicholas Backstrom's 37th assist. And it tied it up, and I thought, oh, man, momentum. But then when we're going to overtime, I'm like, shit, this is where you really miss Verana. Like, I like Verana in 3-on-3. This is where you miss Ovechkin. I like Ovechkin on 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Not the best, not the fastest, but if we can get possession first and he can get his rocket shot off, you never know what's going to happen. And John Carlson, who's a great defensive person, but also is a great shot.
Yep.
We're missing all 3 of those guys now in a 3-on-3 situation against a very fast Pittsburgh team.
Yeah.
And, I didn't have a very good feeling about it. I was excited because we had the momentum, but I was like, where is this goal going to come from? And they had an opportunity early, but when that opportunity didn't go our way, I kind of thought, hey, this is probably how this is going to go. And, of course, Jake Gensel frustratingly scores, and I get so angry because I was so excited. I have to, be careful because I watched the game with Zach, and I don't want to upset him. Too amped up. But it's hard because when you score in the nugget minute, as we call it,
Oh, God.
Tom Wilson gets 3 nuggets for us, but unfortunately we don't get the win. But anyway, overall it was a well-played game. It doesn't. I'm not even sure being first place is the best. I just want to avoid Pittsburgh in round 1. So whatever happens, I think we. No offense, Carly, if you're watching, she's one of my mods, Boston fan. But I think we match up better against Boston. We match up better against the Islanders. So I'd rather the Islanders or Boston beat up on Pittsburgh a little bit.
Right.
If we have to play them, or maybe even knock them out, and we don't have to play them.
Well, and
I think
honestly, my biggest concern was having lost this game and then thinking they play this without Malkin. It's like, ugh, is he gonna come back? And he's such a force, and I hate the guy. I absolutely hate him, but God, he's good. So when you start to think about just everything that could happen and all the what ifs, it's just that Pittsburgh.
I'm watching the Vegas Minnesota game. It's getting a little physical right now. It's 4-3 in the second with 7:52 left, and it's some fisticuffs being thrown in this hockey game.
Who is it? Sorry, I missed that.
Vegas and Minnesota. It's on NBC Sports tonight. I just turned that
Is
one
it
on
Ryan
after the
Reeves?
Wizards won. But I feel differently about Pittsburgh. I feel like, when the playoffs come, the Capitals have their full lineup with the new additions. I think the Capitals can win. Like you mentioned, Carlson and Ovi was out. And that's huge, especially on the power play. Those are 2 of your key players on your top unit. So, and then, teams can play differently when those 2 guys aren't in the lineup. So, yeah, I felt like, in this game, the 5-4 game, that this was the opportunity for the Caps to get the win, and the next game we're about to break down, I think, was just a result of those 2 key pieces not being there. And you're playing a quality, top-notch team that, knows how to take advantage of those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to go back and make sure that I'm right here, but I think that there was a penalty in the third. Yeah, so 7:45, there was a penalty holding the stick by Pittsburgh. And if we score there, I'm not sure that they score at the beginning of the third, and that sort of makes us play catch up, right? So if we went up 4-3 in that game and can assert some dominance, maybe it doesn't go to overtime. Maybe it doesn't. You don't have to deal with any of those sort of situations. So, having those key people out and missing out on that power play, I think gave Pittsburgh a lot of momentum. They were able to score just a couple of minutes later, after killing it, and you see that a lot. So the Rangers are empty net with 3:25 left, and an opportunity to make the playoffs potentially, but still a long shot for them. But anyway, they're down 2 goals, 3:15 left. We're going to bring Brian in just a second, but let's quickly, Anna, break down that last Pittsburgh game, and then we'll get into this game.
Oh yeah, it's like literally one sentence. We lost. It was 3-0. This was an absolutely terrible game. Like this probably had me the most frustrated. Not all season, but definitely in like say my top 5. I don't know who. I don't know who this team was. I mean, and it was just embarrassing. It was terrible passes, terrible play, just awful, awful, awful. Not even like I would say maybe they played 6 minutes of hockey, definitely not 60. And it was just very frustrating because they showed the potential to take on Pittsburgh in a very close game, 48 hours before. And then there's that shift, and it's like, why can't they just be consistent? And it's so extreme, it's like we're so close, and it goes to, like in overtime, and then all of a sudden, like we are completely shut out, and not even, like we didn't have a chance. I don't know. This was a very, and I was thinking like, oh, here we go. Like it's, it's going to be not a noon game on the weekend, so maybe there's a chance that we could, take it, and not so much. And I know without Ovechkin and Carlson, it's been tough, but again, look at how they're playing tonight. So it's like I just don't know what to do with this team sometimes. But this was just awful. Like there isn't even anything to.
Well, like I was saying, they played them back to back 2 days apart. So the first game 5-4, they saw what the Capitals were going to do without Ovechkin and Carlson, and Pittsburgh made adjustments. And Pittsburgh is a quality team. These teams are basically even when you have everybody healthy on the roster. So I mean, I really don't look at it as there was no effort. I mean, first period 8 shots, 7 shots for the Pittsburgh, 8 for the Capitals. Second period, Capitals had 11 shots, Pittsburgh had 8. Third period, Pittsburgh had 11, Capitals had 5. So I mean,
that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, you see the effort. Jari, he was locked in after giving up some goals the night before. So I just, like I said, if it was Ovi and Carlson was out there, I think it would have been it wouldn't have been a 3-0. It wouldn't have been a 3-0 shutout. So I mean, I saw effort. The puck wasn't bouncing away. And Pittsburgh is a quality team that you missing 2 of your big guns. They're going to take advantage of playing back to back. They were able to make adjustments to the team that they played 2 days ago. So I think that's why we got the 3-0 shutout. And I hate shutouts, especially at home. But unfortunately, it happened. Pittsburgh is in first place right now, and we're gonna see how the chips fall.
Oh.
And I hear the goal horn again. Tommy, look like Tom Wilson scored. Empty net
With
goal,
the
most likely.
netter, so.
Oh, it does matter.
Yes. No, I'm super excited. Final thoughts on this game. I cannot blame Samsonov for this game. I know some people are trying to. And maybe one of the 3 goals, but this game put me to sleep literally on this couch. Like I fell asleep watching it. I don't know, it was 3-0. I was just out. It's just boring, just not inspiring hockey in my mind. Like it was hard for me to find things to root for. A lot of defensive miscues that led to these goals. My guy Orlov had a bad game, and a lot of people did. Orlov -2, Hagelin -2, Schultz -2, Hathaway, Dowd. These are players that have been playing well for us. Just it's not good games.
Right.
And just overall, I mean, they put 24 shots on goal. The Capitals did. I mean, you want a little bit more maybe than that, but the goalie played well for them. I mean, you think if you take 24 shots, you often let one in. So, but overall, just poor play. We crushed them on the hits too. So we were trying to take the bodies, but
It just wasn't there.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I don't know if y'all saw the Dylan butt whipping.
Oh yeah.
But at least they won something that night. He whipped little dude. I don't know what dude was thinking about trying to, they said he had fought like the game before in Boston, but he came and Dylan just rocked him. That shit was beautiful.
Yeah, that was awesome.
One moment.
So definitely check that out on YouTube if people missed that. Yeah, I mean that's all I'm gonna say about that. The game is 35 seconds left. The Capitals are up 6-3. I can pretty safely predict that we're going to probably win this one. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, Brian. This will probably knock you guys out of the playoffs. I mean, Boston's up 3-0 also in this game. So
I'm okay with it, man. I've accepted that the season's been over for a while now, so I am totally cool
That's
with it.
true. You
Yeah.
did say that a while ago.
2 weeks ago, I declared
Yeah.
the season over, and
Right.
now it is officially over.
And
yeah, at
the
least you got 2
Flyers
more
are
exciting
up,
weeks.
and the Flyers
Yes.
are up 6-2 on Pittsburgh with 1:22 left in the third.
Yes. So,
Wow, 6-2.
yeah.
Who's playing in between the pipes, Carol? Do you know for
It-
Pittsburgh?
Let me see. I was just looking at it. Damn it, hit the wrong button. Who's in the net? Lost the
They've
game.
actually both been in net. So
Oh, they pulled the goalie.
Yeah, DeSmith was for the first 40, let in 4 on 37 shots against. Holy
Oh.
shit!
And
They ended up
they
37.
just scored again.
Oh God.
And they only had 6 shots in the third, but I guess 7, right? Because you just said that Philly just scored again. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's 7-2 now.
Yeah, it just updated. So now
Wow.
1 goal at 4 against. So 2, basically 2 against in every period almost, or what was it? Yeah. So 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in the third now. Well, now I'm a little nervous about playing the Flyers later this week because I didn't know that they had.
Right, and back to back.
Right. So they have been playing pretty bad lately, but if anyone's interested in the scoring, Philly put the first 4 goals up. Pittsburgh put the next 2, and then Philly answered by putting 2 up at the end of that period. Paul Giroux got the 6. Oh no, not 3, right? It was a goal that's not even on here. yet.
Dang.
And anyway, so interesting game. I'll just recap the scoring of this game real fast. I have the live scoring update up here. Nick Dowd is 10th this season, assist by Carl Hagelin is 9th, a Rangers draft pick, I might add. Garnet Hathaway's 11 assists, made it 1-0. Connor Sherry's played phenomenal since coming over from Pittsburgh. Just a couple of moments later, 15:44, his 13th goal of the season. Raffles 6 assists. Tom Wilson's 20th assist of the season. Made it 2-0. Zibanejad scores 2 goals in a row.
You got it.
Yeah,
One at the end of
I don't know why I love that dude name, man.
Yeah, it's a great name. Zibanejad
Rolls right off the tongue.
But he's so good.
I know.
against us in 6 out of the last 9 games he's pointed against us, including a 5-goal affair. In this one, luckily we held him off the hat trick sheet, but got 2 his 21st and 22nd of the season. The second one was on the power play. Panarin assisted on both of those. Kako? What, is
Yeah,
that right?
you got it. Capo Caco.
Capo Caco.
Another
435.
another favorite name, like
Yes.
Tuukka Rask, and then that one.
Yeah.
Cap Caco made it 3-2 Rangers, and I was like, oh crap! And I was doing a pre-interview for my Wednesday one against Josh, and I'm like, we're falling apart while I'm trying to do a pre-interview. I'm like, this is hard to do a pre-interview and pay attention. Anyway, but Garrett Hathaway luckily ties it up. His 6th of the season, just by Nick Dowd, his 3rd, made it 3-3. Sprong continued his hot hand as again his 5th goal in 5 games, 12th goal unassisted. Terrible pass by the Rangers. Made it 4-3. Nicholas Backstrom, the goal that I didn't see, but I'll have to go back and watch because I love me some Nicholas Backstrom. I'll do the man in white right here. It's too high now. I put a new camera. There you go. There it is.
Savannah.
The Nicholas Backstrom 15th, and then we've got assist by Michael Raffle is 7th, Jensen's 12th. And then our good friend Tom Wilson with the 13th goal of the season. Empty
Even
net.
after a 14-minute penalty.
There's the victory horn.
I was about to say, hold up, ain't the game over? Who scored
No,
again?
at the end of the game, you want the horn to say the goal horn is going to sleep. So
There you go.
When you win, you get that.
I'm about to say Vegas just scored to make it 5-3. I'm like, they celebrating a Vegas goal now?
I could activate it for any of them, but I refuse to activate it for any team but
No.
the Capitals.
Especially not big.
Next time I'm house sitting for you, I'm going to do it for the Rangers.
Well, I heard that he actually does the goal horn before each team, so that'd be interesting.
That's cool. That's cool.
That is
John,
very cool.
John Carlson's 33rd assist of the season, so I'm happy that he got rewarded for coming back. Makes it 6-3. I'm going to get Brian's take first, and I'm sorry that I make you do this, but you are the Rangers fan, so I'll let you get the first crack at it. And what are your thoughts on this game and how the season went?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't watch all of this game because I was really locked into the Wizards game. I wanted to see how they were going to do against Indiana, so I honestly watched a lot of the Wizards game. But I did keep tabs on this game, and I did watch a good portion of it. I do like that the Rangers did come back, but you're just a better team, and you showed it in the third period. And like I've said many times, the Rangers season is over. They were crushed in a back-to-back, a Chara, as I call it, a back-to-back against the Islanders. Before this, they lost the 2 games combined 7-0, and basically that was the season ender. And now, like you said, I think they're officially eliminated with nice results. So yeah, from my perspective, it's going to be very hard for me to care about the rest of the season, including the game on Wednesday. But I do, as a whole, this season's been tough. For me, honestly, we've talked about this, Robbie, but playing the same teams over and over again got kind of stale. Like for me, I really miss playing the rest of the league. Like I can't wait till next year when it's back to normal. Like I thought this would make, like you made a good point at the start of the season. You thought this would make for good rivalries, and on paper it did sound like that would happen. But honestly, I think it just got really stale really fast. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next season. I think the Rangers will be good next season. I'm not saying like I hate hockey or anything. I still love hockey, but no. I still love hockey, but like I don't know. This season has me kind of down on it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's just a weird, season overall. And I think when we went into it and thought, okay, this is how many times we're going to play these teams. This could either be really great or really kind of suck. And then, now that we're like 52 games in,
I've been entertained watching it. I don't really see. I don't really see an issue with them playing each other. I mean, it's been competition, game in and game out because they know how important the points are. And I mean, I didn't have an issue with it. I love hockey, so I just enjoy seeing hockey.
For me, I know how much I hate Vegas, but you didn't miss the West Coast trip or when going to Canada.
That's always cool, but I mean, as long as we had hockey, I was happy. I remember last year when we had nothing. So I'm just I'm just happy that they're playing something, and we're not twiddling our thumbs and looking back 2 years ago, looking at the footage from when the Cap. Well, that's what I was doing. I don't know what y'all were doing.
I think it's tough to tell who's good this year because everybody's been playing the same teams over and over again. So I think it's going into the playoffs is going to be really interesting. I think the playoffs are going to be fun. I'm going to watch.
That's what I was about to say. I think it's going to be more exciting because you never know what you're going to get now.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting.
But I do kind of feel bad for the Rangers. I think the Rangers are a lot better than the 5th best team in a lot of other divisions, right?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
And, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. And then, because I don't think the rivalries, I think you're right, it's a little repetitive. But now when they're going to have to play each other in these playoffs, they'll know each other so well. It's going to breed some crazy series. But I'm excited for the Final Four when it's going to be reseeded in all the different divisions.
Yeah.
We see the best of each division at the end of the first 2 rounds, all battle it out to see who makes it to the Stanley Cup, because we might get 2 East Coast teams in the final this year or something really crazy that we've never
well, that's what I would love to know for the 3 of you. Do you have any I don't want to say predictions because we all hate that. But anything that any team that you think is just gonna, like Tampa Bay is shoo, and then you've got but through the divisions, when you look at it, are there 4 teams that you think are just the ones to watch for?
I'm going to sit this one out because I've barely seen the rest of the National Hockey League. But you guys want to go ahead?
Yeah, that was a key thing I was about to say, because I watch a lot of West Coast hockey, and you were talking about the rivalries. Like I was talking about the Nashville, Tampa Bay. They rarely played, but every game this season they had a physical fight in it where they didn't like each other. And like this Vegas, Minnesota, they've been having games like this all season. So we haven't seen as much of the rivalry on the East Coast, but some of these West Coast games, I don't know why they just don't like each other for some reason. Tampa Bay, I guess they don't. The West Coast don't like Tampa being over there or something because them in
Central,
Nashville.
yeah.
Every game has been a yeah, somebody fighting in that joint. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be an interesting playoff. That puck just sat there on the goal line. I'm watching this. This is a good game right here. It's going to be interesting in the playoffs because, like you said, we don't know what the other teams are going to look like against other teams, and you never know. Like I said, Tampa, they scoring. I'm still not scared of Tampa. I feel, I think the Caps can beat any team in the NHL if they play their game, and that's the only thing to play their game and be consistent. I feel like they can beat any team in the NHL like we saw in 2018 on the road, at home. I don't care. I will go with the Caps if they're playing their hockey against any team in the NHL.
I agree. If there's no injuries, and I think the Caps play their game, I agree with Carol. I think that we're definitely one of the most dangerous.
And there's
teams.
another fight.
Because I think Toronto, they're the best team easily in the North, but the rest of the division wasn't that great. So I feel, and Edmonton's right up there, but beyond Toronto and Edmonton, I feel like it's not as strong. Where like the Capitals had to play some of the toughest opponents in my mind the
Yeah.
whole season. And so I think that's gonna, and the physicality of that's gonna be interesting when they go against maybe a faster division. Carolina's played very well this year. They might be
Yeah.
the team to watch out for in the Central. They might be able to beat Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay, Florida, it's slated that they're going to play each other potentially, and that would be a great rivalry.
Nice.
matchup. And then Nashville, Dallas, there's a real battle right there for that last spot. Dallas has been surging. Remember at the beginning of the season, they were out a lot of games due to COVID, so they didn't start off that great, but they've been playing really well. And Nashville also had a little bit of a slow start, had a resurgence, but they're losing ground right now to Dallas. Dallas has a game in hand on them. And then on the West, Vegas is kind of running away with it a little bit. Colorado's second, but Vegas is going to be a tough team to fight. They remind me of the 2018 Vegas team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if there could have been a rematch there. I think that two
Yeah.
of the strongest teams this season have been Vegas and the Capitals. It'd be crazy if there was a rematch there.
100%. And that's just why, when we think of how this whole COVID and the bubble and the divisions and everything, the possibilities are endless. And I agree. I think it's going to be some awesome watching playoffs, and I'm excited.
Two real quick things before we move on from hockey that I just wanted to address. One, it'd be remiss to say it worked out well for the Capitals tonight, so it's not too much of a hard thing. But I have to give shit to Kuzi and to Samsonov for missing a team meeting or event and making us play a man down. Brian, we played 19 players against you tonight. We didn't even
Yeah.
have a full roster.
And you still
Yeah.
scored 6 goals and won easily.
See, I was about to say you're not making Brian feel any better
Yeah,
by knowing
thanks,
we had
Robbie,
less
thanks.
play.
But I'm just saying, like,
Just go ahead and put some salt in the wound, Robbie. Just go right
but
ahead.
taking out Kuznetsov, one of your best centers, could have been detrimental to the team, right? Like, I mean, I get that it didn't hurt them tonight, but
But
it,
still,
it's not a good look.
it's careless.
Rather have this now than in the playoffs, I guess.
I mean,
That's true. So
like-
maybe it's a teaching moment. Maybe it's a moment where Laviolette can be like, I'm going to throw the gauntlet down now so if people pay attention to me later. But holy shit. I mean, to not have your top goalie and one of your top two line centers,
Yeah.
that's brutal. And,
And then Obi, yeah.
Obi
Obi's
tried to
out.
gut it. Yeah, Obi tried to gut it for a little bit, couldn't do it. So it's dangerous. Now you're putting your star player in a game maybe before he should have been. And Carlson had to gut it out, in this game as well. And he looked pretty good, but you don't want people to come back too soon because other people are making boneheaded mistakes. And it'd be one thing if this is the first time that they'd ever done it, but there's
Right.
now a history with both of these players, and
Yeah.
it's something that I would be remiss if I didn't bring up before this night was over. I'm happy that we won this game, but it's a problem, and they need to address it. And this seems to be the time we hear about it.
What
this
what
year.
was the event that they missed?
I don't think they said.
Not announced?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the event
I-
is.
I-
but
I
it's the
don't know.
principle. Everyone else made it to it, right?
I mean, we don't know the circumstances behind it. We just know it could have been, a legitimate reason, but he had to suspend them for a game just to, stand pat. So, with us not
Didn't
knowing
sound-
what the
didn't sound
situation
like it.
was, with them not
Yeah.
making it there, sometimes you still, like you said, this is his first season. He wants to make a statement or whether, no matter who you are, no matter how big your contract is, no matter what time of the season is, if you don't make an event, no matter what the reason is, we're still going to, do what we have to do. So I'm not going to look too deep. We spoke about a few weeks ago about Kuzi's transition after the substance abuse and the COVID and, this crazy season. So I'm not going to say I'm going to give him leeway to, make mistakes and screw up and, might hurt the team. But I'm not really as critical on it right now with everything that he's been going through.
And I only am critical about it only because, one, Kuz is like a vet player. He knows better. But also, we're 52 games into the season. Like, come on. Like, if this is, game, within the first 10 games and you got a new coach and you're just like, whatever, I don't care what he says, or, a little relaxed on the rules. But we're 52 games in. We only have 4 or 6 more games to go. That's on, Kuzi knows better. Not that Sammy doesn't know better, but Kuzi definitely is a player that should know better 52 games into the season.
I mean, for the most part.
It's the same two of them hanging out together causing a problem.
I was going to ask, why is it always these two?
It's the Russians, man. The Russians hang tight, man. Don't y'all know, man? The Russians
Where's
don't play.
Orlov? Like, I would have put him in, and
I'm happy they didn't bring Orlov and Obi down with them. But
Right.
I don't know. It's just I agree. It ended up okay. Hopefully, we never hear about it again this season. It's water under the bridge. But I had to at least address it on the podcast because it's kind of ridiculous. It definitely put a lot of pressure on us at the start of that game, and it put Obi into a game that clearly he got out of.
He wasn't
ready for. So that's my frustration, I think, more than anything. It's like you couldn't play
stuff happens. They're athletes. They're human. They make mistakes. They, make boneheaded decisions like we do every day. It just gets magnified at this part of the season, this time of the season, with so much on the line. But I mean, I feel your frustration.
We'll drop it. Let's look at the upcoming schedule. We'll move on. We have got one more against the Rangers, Wednesday, May 5th. You can watch my reaction to it live on this on Twitch. I'm going to be doing an interview on Cinco de Mayo. The game starts at 7. My podcast starts at 9. Friday, May 7th, it starts at a Chara, as Brian likes to call it.
Nice. Way to go, Robbie. Way to go.
If you want to know what Chara stands for, check out his podcast upon further review. Philadelphia, Friday, May 7th, 7 o'clock. Saturday, it's a true doubleheader 2 days in a row, also at 7 o'clock. Philadelphia's been playing better. They've beaten the Flyers. Hold on. I totally messed up. Hold on. Because they just beat Pittsburgh. So they beat Pittsburgh, but they had lost to the Devils, 3 out of 4 times. So I don't know if they're good or bad. That's an interesting, we'll see. So we're playing them twice. And then the next Tuesday, we're playing Carly, who's in chat's Boston team. And again, that'll be live on this channel when I interview her. But real quickly, Rangers and 2 Philly games. Anna, your quick thoughts.
Mm-hmm. My quick thoughts. I think that if I don't know. I want to say I hope that however they played tonight that it would continue. But what happened tonight was there were way too many key players missing. But I'm proud of the team for this win. Really didn't expect it, and certainly didn't expect high scoring. And I hope they keep Double D in between the pipes. To be honest, I think he's earned it. The Flyers, I never know. I always think oh, we've got it. They're 22, 22, and 7, and then all of a sudden you're like, Giroux and Hart and all these they have that new. Oh my, I can't remember his name now. Gil and I were just talking about him, but they have a player on that team that is just. He's a rookie. He is fantastic. I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank on his name.
I think his last name is Allen or something like that. I think I know you.
Yeah, Allison or something.
Yeah.
That is a kid to watch for. He has everything that you would want in a
He actually scored his first goal against the Caps.
Yeah, and just wow. So there's all this potential there. So with the Flyers, it's always going to be fun. I hate the fact that they're playing back to back though. That just.
He scored a goal tonight, by the way. Wade Allison, to answer your
Allison,
question.
yeah, okay. That wasn't totally in like.
No, you're right there. So they've got a lot, Farabee, Coltier, Giroux, Van Riemsdyk, Voracek. They've got a bunch of good scorers. Ghost Spare, had a rough season with them, but he had a goal and assist tonight. They were talking they were going to trade him at the deadline.
Yeah.
Carol, quick thoughts before we let Anna go.
It's going to be an interesting week, with Obi going out after one shift. You got Carlson back. Kuzi should be back after the suspension. The goalie situation, I'm starting to go towards with Robbie with Samsonov. He was very impressive against the Islanders in those back-to-backs. And hopefully he can come back and double V. Like I said, nothing against him. But it's always good to have, a backup. I say that Samsonov go, and if, he falters, go to double V in the playoffs. And I think they should have a good week. I think they should take both of them for Philly. Philly's playing tough, but they still have issues in the goal. The Rangers, we saw what happened tonight. Rangers played them tough, but, one miscue by the defense of the Rangers and opened the floodgates for the Capitals to win 6-3. And the last game against Boston, I just looked at the standings. The division, the teams are pretty much locked up because with the Rangers losing tonight, they're pretty much too many points out of it to even give it a push. So it's just about the seeding with the remaining teams. So I think that game against Boston is going to be key because I believe Boston, that's the game they had to reschedule. And it might come down to a key seeding in the playoffs. So I'm rooting for the Caps, but, we're going to see what happens. But I think they should have a good week this week getting ready for the playoffs.
Real quickly before I let Anna go, I wanted to shout out this new merchandise.
Yeah.
So people want to represent the new hockey. The guy who scored 4 goals in his first 4 games, the Mantha Ray. I'm a big fan of Manta Rays. Also, if you check out my YouTube channel, which there's a link in the Twitch chat, I have a video of me swimming with Mantha Rays, and so I thought it'd be fun to do that. So if anyone wants to check out, it fits awesome. I hope it brings him great luck in the playoffs, and I'm getting one for Z in the next couple of days, a black one for him. But yeah, just definitely check it out, sportsothb.com. Click the merch button, apparel, and we got it all on there. And so,
Is that where I'm going to find the sweatshirt, Carol?
I haven't found one. See, I'm colorblind, so I'm trying to match the color that I have.
This is almost as long of a running gag as RG3.
Man, you got a colorblind person looking for colors. That's what I tell the people when I tell the people I'm selling them cars, like, you're looking for blue. I got to go look at the sticker and see what color it is to tell you if it's the right color. So,
well, luckily for you, it's like, kind of got that wicked hot humidity and everything going on. So
I guarantee you'll have it by fall.
Deal.
Sounds good. Well, in the meanwhile, if you want to get a T-shirt for Mantha, you can get one of these. So, but I'm sure that you guys had a great conversation with Gil last night. I'm sure you didn't have the awesome ending that this has, but I'm sure he had some choice words about Pittsburgh.
We both had some choice words. I will say this was not our most kid-friendly episode. I was in a terrible mood. I don't know why. I was just kind of just brought everything out, and then, he can say some things, and it just sort of pokes the bear a little bit. But yeah, so we recorded. It came out, I think last night actually. Like, he was pretty quick about it.
Yep. So click on sportsothb.com. Click on the podcast partners button and click Power Play Point Podcast. You can get more of Anna and Gil. I love the new background, Anna. It looks great. Hopefully we'll get TJ Oshie. I hope his family issues resolve themselves in a positive fashion, and he's back on the ice soon. I feel for him. We'll talk to you next week, but we'll only have one game to preview, and it'll be the last week of Caps regular season hockey.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And then I think just in support of Brian, all of us will learn how to say Zibanejad or
Zibanejad.
Because the Benedict.
I'll teach you.
Like you said, it just rolls off the tongue.
Sounds good.
So,
I appreciate that.
awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you all next week.
All right, Anna, take it easy. Appreciate it as always.
So hockey talk was fantastic. Of course, it went 15 minutes over, as things do. I'm going to let you and Brian break down a few minutes. I'm going to go step outside for just a second just to see how Z's doing with his nighttime routine. But you guys break down the last week for the Caps or for the Nationals, sorry. And then in about 15 minutes, we'll switch over to some Wizards talk.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. There's a quick rundown for the Nats, who we spoke previously were at the bottom of the division after going 4-1 this past week. They are now at the top of the division. Well, the Mets, I think they won, so technically the Mets would be in first place if they did win. Nats would be in second. They're at 12-12 with Juan Soto still out and Strasburg still out. So they're making some strides even with key pieces missing in their lineup. But, you know, they've had some heroics this past week. The first series they had was against Toronto. It was a 2-game series. They split. Excuse me. The first game was a 9-5 loss. Tommy Malone, ex-national, which is, you know, ironic. He earned the win for Toronto, going 1 inning, giving up 3 hits, 1 earned run with no strikeouts and a walk. Max Scherzer took the loss, going 5 innings, giving up 8 hits, 7 runs, 5 of those earned with 5 strikeouts and 2 walks. Trey Turner went 2 for 4 with 2 solo home runs. Zim went 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run, and Yadiel Hernandez went 2 for 5 with a solo home run, who got called up. Once when Juan Soto went onto the injured list, he was the rookie of the year in the minors, and I think it was Double-A, maybe Triple-A. But he's been definitely contributing since he's been in the lineup, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Soto comes back. The second game of the series, the Nats were able to get the split. They won that game 8-2. Eric Fetty, who's definitely improved his pitching since he's come into the league. I actually did an article when he first came up because I saw the potential, but he was a little erratic. He's definitely stepped his game up this season, especially with Strasburg being out. He went 6 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run with 7 strikeouts and 2 walks. Steven Matz took the loss. He went 3 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 6 earned runs with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. Trey Turner went 4 for 5. Josh Harrison went 1 for 4 with a 3-run home run. Zim went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and Josh Bell went 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. I just got to give a quick shout out to Trey Turner. I said it a while ago when they got him back from San Diego that I felt like he was going to be a key piece of this team. He got an extension in the offseason. He was a key piece in the championship run. And, you know, he's been playing stellar defense, and he's at the long ball. Now they have him back at the leadoff spot. I didn't agree with having Robles lead the game off, but now the Trey's back at the top of the lineup. He's raking. He's playing great defense. And, yeah, I love the kid. Brian, did you get a chance to check out this 2-game series against your AL East rival, Toronto?
I didn't, but I read up on it, and it actually went the other way around as how I thought it would go. I thought they would win the first game with Scherzer, but Toronto has a really good young lineup. Vlad Guerrero absolutely crushed him in that game. You know, I mean, it just the kid. He's a really good young player. I mean, obviously he's son of a Hall of Famer. There are a lot of good young players. I mean, I see the Blue Jays a lot, obviously, and they have a lot of really good young players who were sons of major leaguers. Like Bo Bichette was Dante Bichette's son, and Kevin Biggio was Craig Biggio's son. So their lineup can beat you in a lot of different ways. And I was kind of surprised they beat Scherzer in that first game. But Fetty, I think you mentioned that he's pitched very well this season. I think he's really improved and stepped up since Strasburg went down. And the offense showed up in that second game too. So it went the opposite way I thought it would. I thought they were going to split going into it. It just went the opposite way I thought it would, honestly.
Yeah, it's always good to beat a quality opponent. You mentioned last week that, you know, Toronto is a good team, and now I was a little disappointed at the first game, especially with, you know, Trey having the 2 home runs trying to bring the team back, and it's an unfortunate loss, but, you know, it happens, especially, you know, interdivisional games. You don't see teams that often, and, you know, Toronto got the best of the first game, but the Nats were able to at least earn the split, and that went into the 3-game series versus the Marlins, which was a sweep by the Nats. The first game, they won 2-1. It was a shutout going all the way until the extra innings. And the extra innings, which Brian hates with the man starting on second. Miami got a run in the top of the 10th, but Kyle Schwarber with his second walk-off home run with the man on second ends the game in walk-off fashion, 2-1. Brad Hand earned the victory, going 2 innings, giving up 1 hit, 1 run, 1 strikeout, and that run was not earned because the man was on second. Let's see. Yimi Garcia took the loss. He went 0 innings, giving up 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 of them earned because of the home run. That counts as an earned run, unlike the man that's on second. Doing a little bit of education for the folks who don't know about the overtime, the extra innings. And as I said, Schwarber, he had a 2-run walk-off home run, and Yadiel Hernandez went 3 for 4 that game. The second game, I was very pleased because Patrick Corbin has been, I'm not going to say horrible, but yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad
close
for him this season. He actually earned the win in this game. It was a 7-2 victory by the Nats. He lasted 7 innings, giving up 4 hits, 2 earned runs with 4 strikeouts and 3 walks. What is that guy's name? Paul Campbell. I couldn't even read my handwriting. Wow. He went 3 2/3, giving up 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned with 4 strikeouts with no walks. Josh Bell went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs. He had an RBI double to score 3 runs and an RBI single. And Josh Harrison went 3 for 5 with the RBI single. This is the battle of the Joshes, I guess. They're finally starting to get going and aid this offense the way we figured they would when they signed them as free agents in the offseason. And the last game of the series was an impressive start by Max Scherzer. He had a complete game, giving up 1 run. The Nats won 3-1. They actually finished his game in 2 hours and 21 minutes, which was folks were asking, what was his rush? But his rush was his wife was in labor with their 3rd child, and I guess he figured he had somewhere else to be. So he went 9 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 earned run with 9 strikeouts and no walks. Trevor Rogers took the loss. He went 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 3 walks. The lone offense for the Nationals was a 3-run homer by Ryan Zimmerman, Mr. National himself, and the Nats swept the Miami Marlins, which helped propel them into a first place for about 12 hours till the Mets won tonight and took back over first place. Brian, did you get a chance to check out any of this Miami series, and what did you think about Max's fast pitching performance to get to his wife's side to deliver their 3rd child?
I saw a little bit of this series, and this is the type of series I call a get-right series, where you're playing a team you're obviously much better than. The Yankees had one of those against the Detroit Tigers this weekend as well, and you just go out there and do what you do best, and that's pretty much what the Nationals did in this series. I think it's interesting that Schwarber's got 2 home runs, and they're both walk-offs. That's pretty cool. I hate the extra inning rule, but it's kind of interesting how all the runs scored in extra innings of that game. And I didn't see any of the Saturday game, but Sunday, Scherzer was great and a very efficient, quick, my kind of baseball game that moved really fast. And congratulations to him and his wife on the birth of their 3rd child. And I just want to point out, Arun said in our group chat he might have something to say on this Marlins series. So if you want to bring him in, he said he had something to say.
And he's on camera now. Arun, what's going on, my friend? That's a pretty dog you got in the background.
Thanks. I'm recovering from my 9-shot celebration last week.
No wonder the dog is looking at you like that. Like, do you know what you did last week after those 9 shots?
So yeah, the Schwarber walk-off win was impressive. The extra inning rule was going to come in on the Nats because the Marlins scored that 1 run, which wasn't going to count as an earned run, but would have earned the Nats a loss. But Schwarber said, "Hell no!" and hit that home run out of there. It's interesting that Grant Paulson was the color commentator for Maston, which is weird. But Corbin, he's 1-3 as a starter with an 8-run ERA, but they're 2-3 when he starts, which is the same record as Jacob deGrom when he starts with a .5 ERA. So that's pretty crazy that moved all the way up to 500 or tied for first last night for the division. That may have changed, but Scherzer was great with the complete game, 1.5 ERA at home so far this season. So good for the the Nats to get back on track, and nobody in the division has run away with it. So the Nats can still contend for the division.
Yeah, did you get a chance to check out the Toronto series in room?
Yeah, Toronto series was overall. Yeah, Brian mentioned that like it was just like a split. It was unfortunate that the Nats didn't do too well in the beginning, but then they came out with a nice win at the end of the series, which was pretty good. And now the Nats are on a 4-game winning streak, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I'll ask both of you before we get into the upcoming schedule. I mentioned Yadiel Hernandez playing as well as he has with Juan Soto's absence. What do you think they should do with him since he's playing as well once Juan gets back? Ruben, I go to you first.
Maybe you can look to play like Hernandez, maybe in a different position, but obviously Soto's gonna take his spot back, and like Soto's like an MVP candidate, so maybe use him more in pinch hitting situations, and let's see what happens. But it's impressive that he filled in nicely in Soto's absence.
No doubt, Brian. What do you think? You never have too many good players on your bench. So what do you think they should do with Hernandez?
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Obviously, he's not going to replace Juan Soto. Juan Soto is a way better player, but it's a good player. It's a good problem to have. It's good to have a guy like him, especially in the National League, where you don't have the designated hitter, and so having that extra guy off the bench is so critical. Sometimes you're always pinch hitting, making double switches and stuff like that. So I think Hernandez will have a role on this team. I think he will play. I think what Arun said is right. I think they'll try him out at a couple different positions, maybe. He'll get playing time. He'll get his time for sure. He has definitely impressed since the Soto injury, so he will get his time, but that's how I see it. Like, he'll be a valuable piece for this team.
Definitely. I definitely see the potential also. That's the one thing I love about this team, that, they have the veterans, Zimmerman and folks like that, but then you have this young crop that's coming up that's actually getting some playing time. You got Soto, you got Robles, you got Hernandez, and you got plenty of folks in the minors that are, highly touted, that are positioned to, get into the league when it's time and, carry the Nats, into the future. So I always got to give kudos to Mike Rizzo. He always been handling his business in the executive spot. And it's a good, like I said, it's a good problem to have. You're ready to get into the upcoming schedule so you can guys get into the NBA talk with the Wizards fighting to stay in the playoffs. I've been, break down this game that I actually watched. The last game I watched was the one that broke their 8-game winning streak, so I kind of felt like I was a jinx. They were up by 20, so I felt like it was safe for me to watch tonight. But they have an interesting week this week. They got 3 against the Braves and 3 against Brian's Yankees. Yeah, the Braves series starts tomorrow night at 7:05. Wednesday is a 7:05 start, and Thursday is a 4:05 start. And then they travel to New York to face the Yankees. Friday night, it'll be a 7:05 start. Saturday is a 1:05 start, and Sunday is a 1:05 start. Arun, I go to you first. The Brave series, how do you think this one's going to turn out for the Nats?
Hopefully things continue the way they're going. The Nats have won 4 in a row, and the Braves have lost 4 in a row. So it's a pretty weird season right now. Like, they just got swept by the Blue Jays, who the Nats did better than the Braves did. But got to keep the Braves down. They're a really good team, but if they're struggling, the Nats have to take advantage of that.
No doubt. Brian, what about you and these Braves and the Nats next week?
I mean, obviously, I got to talk about the Yankees series.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to the Yankees.
All right, but when it comes to Atlanta, at least, I mean, I think Atlanta got to within 1 game of the World Series last year. They're a good team. They've kind of gotten off to a slow start this year. This is a team that you're going to be fighting with in the division all year, so basically every win is critical. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to go with the Nationals. I'm going to say they take 2 out of 3 against the Braves. I think this will be a good series win in DC. Fetty's pitching in this series. He's pitched better this season. I think they take 2 out of 3 against the Braves.
True that. And I'm going to go to you about your Yankees. I haven't had a chance to check them out. So give us some background on how the Yankees are doing and what should we look forward to in this 3-game series.
Okay, so I'll try and be quick with this. Anyway, the Yankees got off to a bit of a slow start this year. Offensively, they really struggled. The first couple weeks of the season, it was not pretty. They struggled against divisional opponents, but lately they have been playing much better. They took 3 out of 4 in Cleveland last weekend. They split against Tim's Orioles this week at Camden Yards. Then this past weekend, they swept the Detroit Tigers in what I call a get-right series. Then this week, they have a gigantic series that I previewed on my podcast today against the Houston Astros at the stadium. I can't wait for that series. I'm so excited for that series, and everything after that almost feels irrelevant, including this national series. I'm that excited for the Astros series, and but I think this is a matchup of 2 teams that have had similar starts to the season. The Yankees and the Nationals. They both got off to slow starts, they've been playing better lately. So I'm going to say, obviously, I'm biased. I'm going to give you guys a game. I'll say you'll win at least one game. I'm going to say the Yankees take 2 out of 3. It's at the stadium. I got the Yankees taking 2 out of 3 in this one. So I know I'm biased. These are my guys. I got them taking 2 out of 3.
Hey, man, at least you ain't say we was going to get swept. I appreciate it.
No, I'll give you guys one. I'm honest. You guys are a good team. I watch a lot of the Nationals. I know you guys are a good team. I'll give you at least one game.
All right, Arun, what is your take on this Yankees Nets matchup next week? Well, this week.
Overall, 2 teams that were kind of disappointed to start the season, but both teams are playing a lot better lately. The Yankees have won 5 out of 6, but they've also played the Orioles and the Tigers. So I think even though the Astros are, Brian doesn't like them, I think they're better than both.
That's an understatement.
I still think they're better than the Tigers and the Orioles. And they're probably, I don't know, even if they do cheat, I guess they give up the ratings. Because Brian's really tuned in to watch cheaters.
I think Brian Bird's the Astros pennant every night.
Oh man,
it'll be a good series because I guess Scherzer is going to play against. He'll be pitching against the Yankees, and so hopefully it'll be better. It'll also be this will be a tough week for the Nationals, play the Braves and the Yankees. So hopefully it's an above 500 week for the Nats.
Yeah, they've been pretty much 500 or above. They've got the 12 and 12, so they were a couple of games under 500, but they've turned it around. And like I said, once you get Juan Soto back and Strauss gets back to the lineup and, get it slipped. Joe Rawson pitching well, Eric Fetty pitching well. Max, is Max. Corbin has been the only one that's been a little off. Strauss, he hasn't really had enough time to get out there to really look like anything. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how things pan out this season. But they have a loaded roster. Guys are starting to hit again. And you got Mr. National on the team, Ryan Zimmerman, for his last hurrah. Be great for him to go out on top again. So we'll see how it turns out. And on that note, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Robbie. Get off camera, let you guys break down the Wizards week that was and break down this impressive victory from tonight.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you so much, Carol. I really enjoyed. I actually listened to the Nationals talk while I was talking to family and stuff like that. You guys did a great job breaking it down. I appreciate it as always. We're going to bring the rest of the team up, and then I'm going to quickly share this thing to a couple of Wizards groups to see if there's anybody who wants to talk about this big victory with us. I'm sure there will be. Swap things. Hello, Tim. Hello, Champ. Champ, I'll start with you. How have you been this week?
Listen, it's been a while. I had a victory cigar for the Wizards on this podcast, so it's happening right now. Man, what a victory! What a week.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out the time code. So talk to people real quickly because we've got a Twitch audience real fast. Let people know about your affiliate status. He's actually in the room right now. I'll give a quick little shout out using the new shout out command. Shout out to True No Spots. But let people know about your first affiliate stream and how things are going over there.
Well, we already got our first subscriber right before we even went live on Saturday, and it was none other than Robbie G himself. He subscribed to the channel while I was helping him with test strength to Pokemon Snap, and then when we went live, a legit known professional wrestler came in, subscribed as the second one, gifted 5 subs. It was a crazy beginning to my first affiliate stream. It was awesome. Make sure you check us out at True No Spots Pod every Saturday, and I'll plug what we're doing this week at the end.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Tim, I'll bring you in next. How are you doing this week? How are you doing this week?
I'm doing great. After that Wizards win, kind of took the sting off of Saturday's heartbreaking loss, but they looked great tonight, at least on offense.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, how do I want to go into this next? Well, Ruud, also, I want you to introduce yourself. I know you jumped in on the baseball talk, but let people know what you've been up to this week.
Yeah, I've been recovering from that hangover after that 9-shot RG3 celebration. Overall, I'm a little bit low energy tonight, but I'll pull through just like RG3 did over this weekend on covering the draft.
Yes, I appreciate that. All right, I'm just sharing to one quick more Wizards group, and then hold on. Here it is. And we'll get going here. But it was an overall pretty good week for the Wizards. I know it started off rough last week because we've had to talk about the breaking of the big time long streak that they had. Let me share the screen here real fast. Go into these games. So let's switch screen over here as well. There we go. All right, so the first game was against the Spurs. We covered it right after the overtime loss. They lost 146 to 143. It was pretty brutal and frustrating, but it was an interesting game. If people want more of their takes on that game, I'm going to let people go back to last week's podcast. We kind of broke it down pretty well in our post game there. So we're going to skip that one. And then get into the Lakers win, which was on Wednesday, April 28th. The Wizards started off, it was a back and forth first quarter, but unfortunately the Lakers took the lead 35-31 after the first. The Wizards played really well in the second, outscored them 30-20, and they continued that good play in the third, outscored 29-22. And then the Lakers made a bit of a game, scored 30 points in the fourth, but they were able to hold on and win and sweep the season series against them. Bradley Beal had 27 points. Russell Westbrook had another one of his patented triple doubles, this time with 18 rebounds, 14 assists to go with his 18 points in 41 minutes played. I'll let Arun start off. Arun, what's some of your thoughts on this game?
Overall, very impressive win by the Wizards. Without LeBron James, the Lakers don't look that sharp right now. They fell all the way to the 7th seed this week. And Rui Hachimura with a nice poster of Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Chandler Hutchinson also had really nice dunks. I believe one of them was on Kyle Kuzma. Anthony Davis was pretty good in the fourth quarter as a center, but the Wizards took advantage of the Lakers with Andre Drummond on the court. 3-center lineup, one out again. Specifically this time, Alex Len, he had 18 points and 9 rebounds, and Russell Westbrook with another great statistical night. He had 18 rebounds and 18 points and 14 assists, another triple-double, and another win on national television.
Yeah, sounds good. Tim, give your thoughts on this next.
The Wizards are playing a lot better. I mean, despite Lakers not having LeBron this week, and it's incredible to me that Washington was 3-1 against the LA teams. That's a lot better than you would expect, and it's kind of crazy that after beating a lot of great Western Conference teams and having a decent record against the West, they're still 5 games under. But 13 guys played. Wizards showed a lot of depth. Like Arun said, all 3 centers contributed. I think the Rui slam, that was a huge highlight. Might have been an offensive foul, but who cares? Also, I'm glad that we did our research on that one because we may have discovered that Justin Kutcher is a Trump supporter, but that's okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So anyway, again, just a great win. The Lakers really, they're reeling, and Davis is, he played well at the end of the game, but he's not 100%. And obviously, the Wizards wouldn't win a 7-game series against the Lakers, but for their one national TV game, they showed up, and I think a lot of people will respect the Wizards after this win, and just show that Beal and Westbrook can play well together, and the team is really gelling at the right time. So, love this win.
Yeah. Champ, what are some of your thoughts?
So I said on last week's podcast that this game scared me because it was a national televised game against a very talented Lakers team. So it scared me. So I will admit I was quite shocked that they were able to pull out such a very convincing win over the team. But clearly, as it's been said, the team is not the same without LeBron James at all. But they're still very talented. So to be able to take it to them like this really shows, and to be able to do it in front of a national stage really shows that they played in the UK Tigers on this team. A lot of people contributed. Russ just continuing to show why, as Brian said when the trade happened, this was a good trade for the Wizards. He's just absolutely playing out of his mind. Everybody's contributing. That posterized dunk by Rui was absolutely amazing. Like, I really jumped out of my chair when he did it. I was like, oh my God. But great win for this team. Another one of those statement wins that you need, especially when you're on the road to try to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Brian, what are some of your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think a lot of the country, because this game was on national TV, got to see how good of a team this Wizards team has been lately. I mean, they've been on fire. One of the hottest teams in the NBA, and they proved it. I'm honestly not shocked they won this game. You mentioned it. They won the season series against the Lakers. They won the season series against the Jazz. They played tough teams very well. So I'm not surprised they won this game at all. Westbrook's been amazing. He's just, if the Wizards' record were better, I think people would be talking about him for MVP discussions. The Rui dunk, everybody talked about it. It was definitely one of the highlights of the night for sure. Yeah, I really don't have anything more to add. Great win.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, let me switching up some screens here. I found out that I can control way more things than I ever thought possible. But anyway, so we're gonna go back to the week that was. The Wizards then won the game that we kind of all really expected them to win pretty soundly. In the first quarter, they outscored them 35-30. In the second, 23-22. In the third quarter, they even pulled away a little bit, 33-16. In the fourth quarter, they piled on 31-25 for a 122-93 victory. One of the bigger wins on the season. Russell Westbrook, another triple-double with 15 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds. Overall really good play from a lot of players. Bradley Beal only had 19, but in 26 minutes, they were able to sort of spread out the minutes a bit. A lot of double-digit scores, as you can see on this sheet here. Just overall really great play. Arun, what are some of your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the Wizards didn't even need Beal or that fact Westbrook in this game because the Cavaliers were pretty flat in this game, and Beal, you mentioned, only had 19 points. He took 24 shots to get those points, and Neto took 7 shots. He got 17 points. And overall, the bench just carried the Wizards in this game. It's not really because the bench was that good, because the Cavs were that bad in this game. So Kevin Love, he had 0 points, 20 plus minutes, and he's getting paid, I believe, $30+ million. I think he wants out of Cleveland. The last game was relatively close, and this game was not, as good that the Wizards took care of business.
For sure. All right, Tim, what are your thoughts?
No, I was slightly worried about this game just because, like Arun said, the Cavs hung with the Wizards in DC, and the Wizards didn't really pull ahead until 3 or 4 minutes left. Plus, Sexton was out of the first matchup, and he played in this game, and he's probably their best player. So going in, I thought the Wizards would probably have another grind-out win, but this was an ideal game because it was the first of a back-to-back. And not only was it a back-to-back, but they had to fly from Cleveland to Dallas and play 24 hours later. So if you can get a win in this game and rest players like Beal and Westbrook in the fourth quarter, that's exactly what you want. And so I think they get an A+ for this game. The Cavs just completely gave up in the second half. Usually they play a lot harder, and Bruin is right. Kevin Love, I don't know if he's completely checked out because he still has some rebounds and assists, but I did see that the game before this game, he shot like 2 for 12. So I think he basically said, I'm not going to take any shots in the next game because I suck. So, I mean, but still, for $30 million, you have to get some points. Maybe next year they'll trade him. But great win for the Wizards. They got their bench in at the end. Love to see players like, Winston, guys at the end of the bench get a couple minutes. So, just feel good win. I think all the Cleveland fans were focused on the draft too, because this was night 2, I guess, of that. But it was a quiet crowd.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because some even NFL people were seen with the Wizards players on Twitter, so that was kind of funny. But all right, Champ, what are your quick thoughts on this game?
So once again, the Wizards are using their strength that I highlighted a couple podcasts ago. If you look at the points in the paint, 66 to 46. That's their strong suit in getting those points in the paint. They have very talented big men like Robin Lopez, like Rui, and all of them. So use them, get them those points in the paint. Shooting 50% from the field is very, very good, especially when the team you're playing is very flat, as Varun pointed out earlier. This was another win where the score looked like it wasn't close, and when you look at the game, it wasn't close at all. And to Tim's point, it's very impressive to be able to have a performance like this, knowing that you have to travel to a bunch of different states over to play another game the very next night. So to have this kind of performance definitely puts a win in your tail when you have to play a back-to-back in a completely different state the next time.
Yeah, I agree. Brian, your quick take on this game.
Yeah, definitely the easier of the 2 back-to-back games. They're a much better team than the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers really don't have a ton of talent, honestly. I mean, Sexton's a good player, and Kevin Love used to be a good player. I mean, he's just fallen off. I mean, he's having a very bad season. I don't think he scored 20 points at any point this season. So, I expect the Wizards to get this win. And it's nice, like everybody said, I like seeing the bench guys. Let's get their moments too, because they normally don't play. So, good win in Cleveland for the Wizards.
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank everyone for tuning in over on Twitch chat. It's nice to see a lot of good friends in chat. Adrian, our good friend of ours, had a comment earlier that he had a baby and a win in the same day, which is crazy. But yeah, anyway, thanks Carly and Turbo for tuning in as well. And all right, so I think we broke it down this game enough. We can move on to the next game. We're going to do this one. I'll break down the scoring pretty quickly. It was an exciting game, but a very disappointing ending, I would say. The Mavericks were up early, 38 to 26 in the first. In the second, the Wizards put up 39 points, which is really impressive, and held the Mavericks at 32. And then even better, scored 32 in the third and held them at 19. But unfortunately, in the quarter that matters most, the Mavericks outscored them 36 to 27 for a 1-point victory. And what's also disappointing is Westbrook was 1 assist shy of a triple-double, but he still put up 42 points. So I kind of wish just one more of his passes paid a bucket, because we would have won the game and a triple-double. But it sucks to lose a game that close. I'm going to let Arun give the first crack at it.
Yeah, the Wizards had the lead, like a 6-point lead in the 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter. They blew that. Then eventually they somehow clawed their way back, and they had a 2-point lead down the stretch. But like in the closing winning possession for the Mavs, Rui went to triple Luka Doncic and left Dorian Finney-Smith wide open for three, who was already on fire from three for the game, and he hit the go-ahead three. And I didn't like the decision by Rui because the Wizards were up by two. The three would beat them, or the two would just mean that they're going to overtime. And Rui was kind of in no man's land. He wasn't really playing good defense on Luka, and he left Finney-Smith wide open. And then on the final possession, Wizards were fortunate to get a shot off after Bradley Beal dribbled it off his knee, and it went to Neto, who may have had an open look for a layup, but passed it to Beal, was wide open for three. He missed. Game over. Wizards lose, despite Westbrook having 42 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Luka Doncic had a better triple-double, probably with 32 points, 20 assists, and 10 rebounds. And overall, the Mavs just did barely enough to win. Again, I didn't think this game would be close because the Wizards were coming off a back-to-back. The last three losses have come off a back-to-back. But this was a winnable game like the Spurs game, and it was unfortunate. But the Mavs are a good team, and at least the Mavs were tired in the next game. They lost to the Sacramento Kings. But overall, impressive effort by the Wizards, but not enough a lot of it.
Yeah, all right. Tim, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with Arun in the sense that the Wizards were lucky to get a shot off on that possession because Beal almost just turned it over. I know Beal gets a lot of crap for not being a clutch player, and if you look at the stats, he's actually decent at clutch shooting. I think just some of the shots that he misses right at the end of the games get magnified. But one thing is clear, Westbrook is a better clutch shooter than Beal this season, and he was on fire. I really wanted Westbrook to get the ball there. I'm sure the Mavs, double teamed him or just made sure he didn't get the ball because he wasn't even really in the picture. But the other disappointing thing about this game was the Wizards kind of went back to their early season recipe for disaster where they got behind really far. They got behind by like 10 or 12 points very early in the first quarter, worked their way back ahead in the second half, but then kind of lost steam at the end and lost a heartbreaker. So, but at the same time, Dallas killed the Wizards in DC earlier in the season, so you see a lot of progress. And I love the one-on-one battles, Luka versus Westbrook. I think they both were really motivated for this game. Luka played even better than Westbrook. Really, I mean, he had the triple-double and the winning assist. But I want to see more of those one-on-one battles because I think they like playing against each other.
Yeah. Champ, what are some of your thoughts on this game?
I remember asking in the group chat, like, is it worth really watching this game because they went down really early? And Tim was the convincing person to say, no, watch it. Things are going to change. And it did change. They were able to claw ahead. But I just think that all in all, it was definitely a disappointment, especially given the fact that the night before you were able to get such a big win against Cleveland. But I look at this game and it's one of those, it could have gone either way. If X happened and Y happened, that type of thing. And the Wizards, it's not like they played bad. They didn't play bad. It's just that, as Arun pointed out in his thoughts, it was one bad defensive play and it led to the loss. And it goes back to the point that I always make to this team since I've been with this segment, is defense and playing sound and fundamental defense. And had Rui not made that defensive lapse, maybe we'd be talking about a different result. Maybe not. Maybe they go to overtime and something happens there. We don't know. But again, the Wizards show great effort. They show great talent. They show that they can hang with teams. It's just that one major mistake leads to what we are looking at right here, which is a 1-point loss.
Yeah. All right. We got for timing, I'm gonna have Brian go very quickly, and then I want to break down the game that's tonight, and then we still have to look at the upcoming schedule real fast too.
Yeah, I thought this was a great game. I'm really glad I watched it. I'm really glad Ken watched it too because it was a really great game. These teams, I was really impressed with the Wizards' comeback and for them to take the lead. And it's unfortunate that Rui made that mistake. But Luka Doncic was incredible in this game. But just to watch him and Russell Westbrook go at it was really impressive. I agree that Beal struggling in clutch situations is a concern, but he's still a hell of a player. I would have liked to see Westbrook hit the ball in that spot too, but either way, great game, tough loss, but they bounced back strong tonight.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great segue right there. Thank you, Brian. And so this game right here, the game started off well for the Wizards, outscoring Indiana 36-31. And the second, the Wizards put up 46 points, just a remarkable feat, but still let in 35. So not a lot of defense. In the third, they let in 36 points, but still scored 40, which is also impressive. And then they let Indiana score 39 in the fourth and only scored 32. But at that point, it was 154 to 141, and the least amount of defense I've seen in a while. But Russell Westbrook, 21 rebounds, 24 assists, and 14 points. You got Bradley Beal with 26 points, Rui Hachimura with 27 points. And the biggest thing right here is the stats and the assists. It said a franchise record. I thought it was even more than that. I thought, was that the final number, Arun? Was it 50?
Yeah, 50 was it's the franchise record for.
Yeah, for some reason I even thought it was a bigger number than that, but 50 is still an incredible number. I mean, look at the Pacers had 28, but 50 assists, just remarkable. You know, with 10 steals and only 16 turnovers, but points in the paint, 96 points. I know that Champ was talking about that earlier. When we can dominate that, it's huge. But all right, real quickly, lightning round. Arun, quick thoughts on this game.
Russell Westbrook ties his career high in assists and has a career high in rebounds, and not much more you can say. And he had at one point the least amount of shots taken on the team, but then he jacked up 4 more, so he had 8 shots total. But still, great night for Westbrook with another great triple-double.
All right, lightning round. Tim, go.
I just love Gafford. I'm kind of shocked that trade worked out so well for them. I don't even know what Wagner's doing, but I don't care anymore. So, we got him. I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Champ, what are your thoughts?
Westbrook was 1 assist away from setting a franchise record for assists by a Wizard/Bullet. That should tell you something about how much this man contributes. This was a fun game to watch. The little bit that I did watch, it was fun to watch. What a victory, and it really helped their playoff push.
Yeah, it's huge. It's against one of the biggest rivals, in this. Brian, your quick thoughts on this game before we get into the week ahead.
Westbrook is amazing. This is a huge win for the playoff push, obviously. Indiana's right ahead of them, so this obviously helps them get in the play-in, and I believe now they are at 3 games ahead of both Toronto and Chicago for that last play-in spot. So they have a little bit of cushion. It's looking good. I think the Wizards will, at the very least, be in the play-in. They're playing their best basketball of the season right now.
Yeah,
they are 3 ahead of Toronto.
Yeah, but it pulls them right up there with the same number of wins, I believe, as the Pacers, right? So, that's huge.
And the Hornets are not out of reach.
Yeah, and they play the Hornets and Pacers head-to-head still. So,
yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into that upcoming schedule real fast. So we've got the game against the Bucks on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So again, I'm doing a podcast with Josh Turk, 9 o'clock live on Twitch. If you want to see my live reaction to playing the Pacers and Brian Brennan's Rangers, I'll be watching both those games live while interviewing and talking music and sports and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be a big night. I'm looking forward to that. There's also a game on Thursday against Josh Turk's Raptors. So we'll be talking about that, previewing that game on this podcast as well. Wizards play Raptors at 7:30 on Thursday. And the Wizards play a rematch against these Pacers. I know that they're going to want blood in that one. That one's in Indianapolis. That one's Saturday at 7. And then next Monday at 7:30, during our podcast, we'll be playing the Hawks in Atlanta. So we'll be talking about that next week as part of, we'll do a post-game show for that as well. Big week. I'll let each one of you guys pick one game you want to talk about. I'll start off with Arun. since I gave him the last one the last week. So I will give him the first pick this week.
I'll talk about the Raptors game. It's a critical, I guess, game because the Raptors are, even though they're kind of knocking on dead, they're still chasing after the Wizards for one of the final spots. Kyle Lowry's also back. He had 37 points and 11 assists, making 8 threes against the Lakers in the win. So it could be a tough game. Hopefully the Wizards can beat their playoff rival who they swept when Lowry was there 5 years ago.
Yeah, that is a good point. All right, so I'm going to next let Brian Brennan pick a game. What game do you want to pick?
Oh, I definitely want the Hawks game. As a Knicks fan, we are fighting with the Hawks for the 4 seed right now. So please help us out and win this game. That is all I will say. I know Portland is playing the Hawks tonight, so I hope I don't know how the score is going in that one. I hope they're helping us out. The Knicks are crushing Memphis, right? Atlanta won shit. Well, either way, the Knicks are crushing Memphis tonight, so I hope you guys win that game against the Hawks so the Knicks can continue to pad their lead for the 4 seed in the playoffs. That's all I have to say on that game.
All right, so the next person I'm going to go to is Tim Clark. Which game between the Bucks and the Pacers game?
I'll go ahead and talk about the Pacers some more. I think last time the Wizards, besides tonight, they did beat the Pacers earlier. I think both Sabonis and LeVert were out for that game, if I'm correct. So clearly, the Wizards need to play a lot better to, beat the Pacers again with a more healthy roster. I don't think it's going to matter that the Wizards are on the road. It's not like it's a full packed house, but it seems like the Wizards match up pretty well against them. And this again is a very vital game because they're just a half game behind the Pacers and one in the loss column. So it could really determine who's the 9, who's the 10. But Saturday primetime, I think it'll get good ratings and it'll be an exciting game.
For sure. Okay, champ, you get the last game. I'm sorry of this week, but you get the Bucks game.
Well, I get the one game out of this week that scares me the most. And the last time I said a game scares me, we won big. So I'm going to say it again. This game scares me. Giannis is going to be Giannis. Period. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about Giannis. So this game is going to always scare me. Anytime we play the Bucks, they're a very tough team to play. We're in their house, and I feel like this is going to be a game that the Wizards, like they've always done, they play their toughest opponents toughest. So even though this game scares me, I have a lot of confidence that they can do well against this Bucks team. Will they win? Maybe. Will they lose? Probably. But I think it's going to be a good performance for them as they continue to push to get to the playoffs.
Sounds good. All right. Well, it's been an exciting week. I really appreciate you guys all helping me break it down. We're all talking in chat about trying to figure out what we're going to raid next on this, but it's been such a good breakdown with all of you guys. I'm going to end the screen share right now and let us all sort of say our final thoughts. Let's go back to that. Yep, there it goes. All right. Arun, I really appreciate you spending time with us tonight. I know you're going through some stuff, but I really, we're sending our love to you, and I really appreciate it, as always, being a part of this roundtable. Any final thoughts that you want to share tonight?
Yeah, Tim mentioned Mo Wagner. He's on Orlando now, and now they're 3-1 since he's appeared with the Orlando Magic, so he's going for that max contract. Actually had 24 points and 5 rebounds in a 1-point win against Memphis. And RG3, I'm glad to see he's employed again at the TV network, and he's using that to gun for a new job. He's asking Kyle Shanahan to give him a backup job for 49ers. So props to RG3. Hopefully he can come on Sports PhD and keep spreading the word for his resume building career.
Well, I thought I liked his shit talking in the on that interview too of Kirk Cousins. So that was pretty entertaining. I hadn't seen him in video form in a while, so that's pretty funny. But Arun, thank you as always for being a part of the roundtable. We'll talk to you soon.
Sure, thanks for having me on, and thanks for the kind words.
Yes. Of course. All right, Tim, you're next. Any final thoughts that you've got?
No, I just think
How did you think you did on the? I haven't had you on since the draft. How do you think the Ravens did?
I think they probably get a solid B. I like that they got receivers and edge rushers. The one might have been the Penn State guy Owa in the end of the first round because he didn't have any sacks last year in college. But I'm satisfied overall with what they did. Maybe not the best draft in the world, but good stuff. And I also would say, as my final thought, I'm excited for the battle of the Lopez brothers on Wednesday night, part of the Milwaukee game. I wonder if that hook shot is going to work against his. Is that his little brother? Or they're twins, right? I
They're
don't know.
twins.
Yeah, I don't know who's born first, but we'll see if that works against his brother. You'd think like his brother would learn how to defend that in the driveway, but we'll see. Good side story.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. So that is a good point. So thank you, Tim, as always, for bringing it, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, man. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'm gonna go to Champ. Again, congratulations on reaching affiliate on Twitch. Everyone, I'll give another shout out over on Twitch about it, but you just let people know what's on the No Spot podcast this week.
Right. Well, this week we're going to do Wrestle Chat Wednesdays. We're going to be streaming on Twitch. I'll be talking about the state of women's professional wrestling as well as tag team wrestling in general. And then on Saturday, of course, we'll have the No Spot podcast. One of the topics we'll be talking about is our top 5 wrestling rivals. So myself and Sip will be talking about that as well as the weekend review. So make sure you tune in. On twitch.tv/NoSpot5. We'll see you on Wednesday and on Saturday.
Sounds good. I really appreciate it as always for being a part of it, being a moderator over in chat. Congratulations on your new emote, and we'll definitely talk more as the week goes on. And look forward to having you on next week.
Thank you very much, man. A very talented young man designed that emote, man. I gotta get that man something.
There you go. That's awesome. So let me see if I can spam it. There it is in chat. And Champ Taker himself. All right. Well, appreciate it, Champ. And we'll talk to you soon. Again, go to sportsothp.com, click on podcast partners, click No Spots Podcast. You get all their latest podcasts there. Champ will talk to you soon. All right. Brian Brennan, you had an episode released this week already today, and you've got one coming up. Let people know the latest real quickly on your podcast.
Yes, I released a new episode of Upon Further Review with Brian Brennan today. It's great. I think if you have no interest in this Yankees-Astros series this week at the stadium, you will have interest in it after listening to my podcast. I am very, very fired up for it, and I think that comes across very well in today's episode. So I encourage everybody to check it out. DC United lost this weekend. Tough loss for them, 4-1. That's pretty much all I have to say. I don't know who they play next, unfortunately, off the top of my head. But good luck to them. And, Robbie, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, of course. And, it's a rough one for DC United for sure. Their next battle is 5-8 against the Crew, Columbus Crew at 1:30 p.m.
Reigning MLS champs.
Yeah, so that'll be a tough one. They lost 4-1, if you're curious, on a very bad Saturday where like all the teams seem to lose in heartbreaking or annoying fashion. So that's our DC United update every week. We'll bring it to you. Thank you, Brian, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night, guys.
Right,
I also
Brian,
put the link to the podcast partners in the Twitch chat. Click there, go to sportsothp.com. You can also get Brian Brennan's Upon Further Review over there as well. So, Carol, busy show. One last little shout out. Go get the Mantha Ray merch over at sportsothp.com as well. Hopefully that'll bring good luck. Very first night I've ever worn it, Carol, and we got a W. So, I'll wear it again on Wednesday. We'll see how it goes.
No doubt. Can't go wrong with it. Yeah, another great show. Appreciate everybody tuning in, checking us out. Well, as always, with the best DC sports coverage around, the best sports coverage around, period. So, as he mentioned, check out the website, sportsothp.com, for all the apparel links, the podcast partners, all of our content, videos, Facebook Lives, and everything. Be on the lookout for a lot more coming. We got a lot of things in the works behind the scenes and everything, so make sure you check that out. If you're in the market for a new, used, or pre-owned certified vehicle, hit me up down Waldorf Honda, 2450 Crane Highway, Waldorf, Maryland. Get you the best deals, great customer service, and we'll save you that money wherever we can. Make sure you check out Sunday nights, 6 p.m. at the Bar Radio. We're streaming live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Now I'm finally back on Twitter. There will be some program changes soon. We mentioned it last night. We might be taking our show elsewhere off of Facebook and getting linked up on some other folks and some things we've been working towards. So stay tuned for that, because Sports OTHP might not be too far behind it. So y'all be on the lookout. I told you we got things moving, things working. We always on the grind and always trying to bring you the best content around, because that's just what we do. As always, I'm gonna end the show with some videos from At the Bar Radio. We got Renegade, got Flex 360, who we interviewed last night. Great young kid, impressed me. And one of my favorite tracks from a young lady from New Zealand, TJ May Snow. So stick around, check out my feed if you want to check the videos out. Stay on Robbie feed. You can go check them out on Twitch and do what they do over there, because I have no idea what they do over there. But Robbie, as always, appreciate it. Fans, contributors, listeners, all of that, we always appreciate it.
Real quick, one last little shout out. Thank you everyone on Twitch for showing up. We've had a lot of people chatting all night. I have not been able to shout out all the stuff you've been talking about. We're going to do a raid in a second. We're going to raid John Ong over on my channel. And I really appreciate everyone for coming through and helping me on this big affiliate push. And we've got a big show again on Cinco de Mayo. You can find out on all my social medias for that. But thanks everyone for tuning in on all the different platforms, whether it be Facebook, on Carol's YouTube, or anything else. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun show. So I'm going to initiate the Jonathan Ong raid over here. And Carol, it's been a great night, and we'll have to do it again next Monday.
You already know. Make sure y'all tune in. Don't bring the best sports around. DC Sports Without the Politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. And we out. See you next week.
Money. Money. I love that money.
Lucas.
Money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you've been talking about. You don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut him off. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say. Stay up out of my way. Cause money, 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 make you shut him off. Keep playing with the Goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming, oh my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they might seem surprised. This is homicide. We just multiply, we been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money, 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 I'm talking about. Day in my life, take me a different route. And use all my case, niggas on my face. You can get erased, what you talking about? Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Won't really know what you always talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want play. You don't know what to say. Cause money is what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay. I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm balling, I'm winning, I'm feeling like Robert Horry. Nigga, I'm scoring. I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign. So independent, my money be corporate. These rappers is boring. You hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring. She always go ahead, let me explore it. I call her my Dora. You can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in. If a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in. Jump in, take trips, Pompeii. All day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, man. And you can never, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you play the game, then you play by the rules. Money's what I'm talking about. Won't really know what you've been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. Won't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about.
I am King Akim Joffer. You are the heir to the throne of the Munda.
Yes, my son.
Coming to America. Presenting King Akim's son from America.
This happened before.
Class, I'm glad you all can make it today. I got a special guest. But before we get to the special guest, this is what we got to do. Because right here, you down here. But this is what we want you to limit. And then punchline.
Tell him, man, this dude's a genius.
Hell no. It's like you know what makes sense. What we gonna do is fight, karate, ninja stuff.
This is the stuff, though. You need to be right here.
It don't look like it. I think this is bullshit.
Try and learn. Not making too much noise.
Who she says she like that?
Satellite.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this sound?
North, south, east, west, coast to coast, killer shit. Bitch, I'm strong enough to raise your roof and watch your ceiling split. Plugging holes in your game, they calling me the ceiling fix. Ain't no one in my lane, I'm training night and day. Y'all gonna know my name. What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? Yeah. What's my name? What's my name? Y'all gonna know my name. What's my name? What's my name? I'm from Jojo. Y'all gonna know my name. Drinking all the sake. Classes now in session. I am Black Mr. Miyagi. Teaching all these lessons in defenses in karate. If your language ain't offensive, you'll be left here in this trolley. Testing your cardio. Nothing but body blows. Swift kicks to your dominoes. You put the dominoes. So be left with a snotty nose. 2 pieces till your eyes can close. Look, listen to me, son. I know what you want. What? I teach you the speech. Position your hands. Yeah. Your stances are wrong. Nah, be quick on your feet. Twist when you hit. Yeah. How can you miss? Nigga, you bigger than me. You thinking too deep. Yeah. Stop getting big. Get your delivery sweet and make you some cake. Yeah. And make no mistakes. You'll never physically peak. Reaching infinity speeds. Adrenaline having you dizzy for weeks. What's my name? Can't call me the man who can walk on water. Walk on water? And you, my friend, at the hands of a rusty barber. What's my name? Come, sit down. You don't want to get slaughtered. Nah. For acting an I'm training night and day. Y'all gonna know my name. What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? Yeah. What's my name? What's my name? Y'all gonna know my name. What's my name? What's my name? I'm from the dojo. Y'all gonna know my name.
360.
Honor the flow. I am on fire. Start, drop, and roll. Cause I got the glow. Go beyond the process of consciousness. Come out your body and flow. I show you how to write when the oxygen, carbon is all that we smoke. Zone in a place where the mind's unfolded. In the space of your times unfolded. Observe every word that emerge with a verb. Leave you numb to the nerve like ibuprofen. No token, take you a drag. You hidden and ready to pass with Mayweather swag. You dipping and hitting this medicine bag. Well, it ain't Zab. Don't miss 2 hits like a hell of a jab. This veteran's fast. These hands so quick, I can split 3 feathers in half. I'm out your range. 2 shots to knock your brain from out your frame. We not the same. I'm good with my hands in every way like Doctor Strange. Nigga, what's my name? Can't call me the man, nigga, walk on water. Walk on water. And you, my friend, at the hands of a rusty ball. What's my name? Come, sit down. You don't wanna get slaughtered. For acting an ass and harassing the staff next class, I'ma have to charge. North, south, east, west, coast to coast. Bitch, I'm strong enough to raise your roof and wash your ceiling split. Plugging holes in your game, they calling me the ceiling fix. Ain't no one in my lane, I'm training night and day. Y'all gonna know my name. What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? Yeah. What's my name? What's my name? Y'all gonna know my name. What's my name? What's my name? I'm from the dojo. Y'all gonna know my name.
360.
Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it, it's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. Take me to a place where everybody learns, where everybody sees, where everybody shows their love. I didn't think so. You know. That's why I always champagne for you or me. I really didn't think so. I take a promise, I give it some love, I make a wish upon a star. You know you gotta get it right. You know you gotta get it right. Ooh. Every little thing counts now. Every little bitty thing. Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it, it's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. It'd be so cool just to celebrate all the love and all the hate that's going down. It's gotta stop, we've had enough. Why can't we just live together? Peace, love, and harmony is what this world needs forever. Can you hear me? I am calling.